How do you measure your personal economy is a financial statement. So when people ask me, because right now I'm about $500 million in debt, 500 million. I said, how do you borrow $500 million? I said, you've got to have a financial statement. That's what separates the 1% from 99%. So that's why I created the cash flow game with my wife, Kim, in 1996. Because she and I retired, she was 37, I was 47. We didn't have any retirement plans and nothing. People kept asking us, how did you retire so young? I said, well, we tried to explain it, and we couldn't explain it. So that's why we created the cash flow game in 1996.
The scorecard is actually a financial statement. So people learn about a financial statement, income expense, balance sheet, asset liability. They're moving the numbers all the time in the game, so they're learning how money flows through the different financial statements. So just by playing the game a few times, you're smarter than 99.9% of people on the planet when it comes to a financial statement. Years ago, the New York Times was doing a story on the cash flow game. And the journalist called us up from New York, and she said, do you know you have a cash flow club here in New York City with about 1,000 people? And we're like, no, we didn't know that. She goes, yeah, you have one in London. We found one in Singapore. We found one in Hong Kong. And she said, you have these cash flow clubs all over the world. And we're like, what? And the mission of the Rich Dad Company is to elevate the financial well-being of humanity. And the game was meant to go out on its own for people to teach each other. So we started researching these clubs, and we found we had 3,500 cash flow clubs where people would get together. It could be, 4 people, it could be 3,000 people, and they get together on a regular basis and they play the game and they teach one another. And when we heard this and we discovered this, we're like, oh my gosh, the mission is being fulfilled without us, which is like the ultimate.
And so the reason games are the better teachers is because it involves you mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. Education is mental. I have to learn. Can I change my thoughts? It's physical. I've got to do something. If I'm learning to play golf, I've got to swing that club. I've got to handle my emotions because, any sport, like you're racing down the hill, it's pretty emotional. That's what you do it for, the thrill, the fear, that all that comes up. And then the spiritual. The spiritual side is how you stand back up, because you will fail.
It teaches people that it doesn't matter what your salary is or what your job is or what your profession is, that anybody can be financially independent at any level. And you win the game by having your passive income from your assets, and an asset is something that puts money in your pocket, whether you work or not. So you have your passive income from your assets is greater than your monthly living expenses.